G'day everyone, welcome to the round 2 tips video. Big dazzling standing, we love to see it. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so already. I'd really appreciate that. Still trying to get to that 500 mark. Got 6 out of 9 last week, so all the games we're going to go through in considerably less time than last week. I'm also going to give you my 3 favourite line bets of the weekend, which we're going to gamble responsibly on. But that's enough of the intro. Let's get into it, round 2. Everyone's on board the Blue Baggers, and I don't blame them. And this is going to be a really interesting game. The Bulldogs' weakest line, it looks like, is their forward line. And Carlton's midfield and forward line looked that cohesive on the weekend. There is an argument to be stated that Carlton's weakness is their back line, but it doesn't even look like that much of a weakness. It is the weakest of 3 strong lines. The Bulldogs have got a lot to prove. And without Bailey Smith, they might be in a little bit of trouble. I'm actually going to jump on the Blue Baggers train this weekend. Will it come to a stop? Who knows? But Ash Hansen, the former Dogs assistant coach, will take over. And I suspect George Hewitt will tag Jackson Macrae, as Hansen has said in the past that teams not tagging Macrae doesn't make sense. So I expect that to happen. The Blues will get the chocolates over the Doggies. And it's going to be an interesting media week if the Dogs do go 0-2. I am plainly convinced that Buddy's not going to kick his 1,000th goal before he plays Hawthorn in Tassie in round 5 or 6. So until he actually does kick his 1,000th, I'm going to ride that train and it'll be a beautiful piece of fate. I'm actually going to go with Geelong on this one. I don't think Sydney's game style suits the SCG at all, and we've noted in their history in the last couple of years they've struggled at home. But the young, fast brigade on such a small ground, they can get stifled and get suffocated. I'm betting the mature bodies of the Cats get the job done in a really, really close game. If the Swans' young fraternity can break out and kill the Cats on the turnover, look, it could be a bloodbath. I'm going to just go with the Cats on this one. It's going to be a corker of a game, and I can't wait for it. Fingers crossed Buddy does get that 1,000th goal, though. And if he does, the Swans will get up, but I'm picking the Cats. Well, it's a pretty simple formula. Whoever plays the most like they did last week will win in this one. The Crows, although they had 2.5 quarters that they wouldn't be that proud about, the way they managed to fight back against the Dockers was admirable. Now, admittedly, the Dockers kicked inaccurately, which allowed the Crows back into the game. However, we do need to look at the fact that once they got momentum, they didn't let it go for a long time. The Pies did have a challenge in the Saints, but ran over the top of them, and I actually think this is going to be a better game than we give credit for. I don't have faith in Adelaide's tall forwards. Thilthorpe and Fogarty had a poor start to the year, and Collingwood don't even really have that tall forward. Mason Cox is a competitor, as we know, but Darcy Cameron isn't it. Myercheck isn't a tall forward, but he plays like one and does very well at it. I'm going to go with the Pies on this one, only because it is at home, but I think this is one of those games that not many people are talking about, but might end up being an absolute ripper. Genuinely don't see how Essendon are going to win this game. Brisbane's defence looked pretty strong against Port for big periods, keeping Jeremy Finlayson, Mitch Georgiades and Todd Marshall to just 8 marks and 22 disposals between them. Brisbane's midfield looked awesome, and you could say Essendon's does as well, but all you need to do is look at the first half against Geelong to know that they can find the footy, but didn't really lay a punch. I think Tom Cutler and Nick Cox on the wings really need to get their meters up in this game for the Dons to have a genuine chance. Their only real goal kicker last week for the Dons, Nick Martin, is out with health and safety protocols. You put all that into the mixing pot, and it's a big Brisbane win. Whether it's 5 or 10 goals, who knows, but it's hard not to see the Lions getting the chocolates in this one. Can tipping against the Hawks work 2 weeks in a row? Fingers crossed I've got the reverse jinx going, but I think Port Adelaide are going to get the job done. It looks like they're only going to be missing Charlie Dixon, Aliir, Trent McKenzie for this game. Rosie, Gray, they seem to be in the side and going to play, which is a bit of a problem for the Hawks. Now, the Hawks might be welcoming back, as we don't know at the time of recording, Will Day, which would be spectacular, and he is, and fight me on this, Hawthorn's best young player, and I would argue that he is a top 3 best player on the list when fully fit. We just need to see some consistent time from the big fella. Port at home, it is a fortress, although the Hawks at Adelaide Oval have had a pretty good record, but it has been the worry, and we got away with it against North, but Mitch Lewis and Jack Gunston are going to be up against better defense than they got last week, even with Alir out. Tom Jonas is going to take one, and I wouldn't be surprised if Sam Skinner, in his debut for Port, did play on Mitch Lewis, young player on young player, and they sent Jonas to Gunston. It's going to be an interesting game, but I'm going to back the firepower of Port Adelaide. Melbourne win. What else needs to be said? I'm really looking forward to seeing Rao v Petrarca and Miller v Oliver. That is going to be an awesome battle. And Jared Witt started the year on fire when he took down Nick Naitanui last year. So him v Gawn has got an interesting matchup about it. But, I mean, if Gold Coast win this, I'll buy a Gold Coast Suns jersey and I'll wear it throughout the review. I don't think the Suns can get it done. I really, really hope they make it competitive. The line in this game is only 22.5, which is really tempting. I'm not going to put it in my best 3. But there is a real argument to be made that that line could be covered at halftime, or the Suns don't really go away, remembering that in the past, Gold Coast play their best footy in the opening 6 weeks, but Melbourne win. The worst team in the competition, borderline fully fit, versus a team in the competition with hardly anyone fully fit. But the Eagles should welcome back Tim Kelly, Luke Shuey, Alex Witherden, Jack Darling, and I think I'm missing one more in there. I apologise to that returning player. But the Eagles put up a really good fight for 3.5 quarters against the Suns, and getting that senior experience back should be too much for the Roos. I wouldn't surprise me if the Roos midfield, because Luke Davies-Uniacke, Jai Simpkin got off to fantastic starts, did win the midfield battle, but North won the midfield battle last week, and it didn't equate to a win. The Eagles get it done here in what will be a really, really good win. Hawthorn didn't get the credit they deserved for the way they played last week, even though it was scrappy at times. Eagles aren't going to get any credit for this win either, but I think they get it done. So only half an hour before recording this, Dustin Martin, it revealed, is taking some personal time away. Now, I hope, and that is a thin hope, that football fans can understand this, because Dusty had been through a pretty turbulent off-season with the passing of his dad, and with mental health in sport such a focus right now. We all need to wish Dusty the best and hope that he is back on the field ASAP, and at the very least, feeling at his best or close to it as soon as possible. So everyone here in the Daz Talks footy community wishes Dusty all the best. Not that he'll watch this, but on the off chance, the less than 1% chance, we're all rooting for you, Dusty. Whether you like him as a player or not, no one wants to see anyone take time away from the game for this reason. He was the only Richmond midfielder that really did anything last week. So Richmond are on notice. If they go 0-2 in this game, no, I'm not saying the season's done, but they need to have a really hard look at themselves. I think Riley Collier-Dawkins has got to play. They need some grunt around the ball. Dion Prestia is made of tissue paper. And for 1 week and 1 week only, I'm going to back the Tigers in. And if they can't get it done, I'm probably off them for the year, which is going to be extraordinary. But they've got the credits in the bank. The Giants don't have Toby Green. Richmond just, and I don't feel great about it. And to finish us off, Freo St Kilda, this is actually going to be a corker. The Saints, you feel their season is on the line, and I know that sounds nuts in round 2, but if St Kilda can't beat a Collingwood team that they were favourites against, or a Freo team who suffered with inaccuracies with Matt Taberner out and Nat Fyfe potentially out, where are they at as a football club? Where are they at as a list? Finals would be completely off the table. I didn't have them in my finals race to begin with, but that is not the point. Yes, I think Freo get the job done. I'm really looking forward to seeing Brayshaw and Steele go head-to-head. Steele was quiet last week, only had about 76% disposal efficiency, which is fine, but when you add in 7 clangers, a really poor free kick against late in the game, it wasn't his most productive outing. I think he bounces back. Him v Brayshaw is going to be outstanding. The Dockers, they're at home. I'm going to go with them, but can they learn how to kick straight? That would be awesome, but Freo for me. So this is On the Line, my 3 favourite line bets from the weekend. And we are actually going to start with Thursday night. Tonight, Carlton plus 9.5. Even if the Blues can't get the job done, I find it a little hard to believe that the Doggies really do it in a blowout. So I'm predicting either a close game or Carlton pull away. Second up on the bill is the Cats. I tipped them to beat the Swannies, and I understand that there might be some trepidation about this pick because the Swannies young brigade could run over the Geelong's old boys. I'm not picking that to happen, I should say. I think the Cats get it done. But we do need a favourite, and come on down, Brisbane. Minus 15.5 is extraordinary. That could be the margin at quarter time and only gets bigger. I don't know what shots Essendon have got left. Harrison Jones is still not in the side. Nick Martin isn't in the side. McDonald, Tipperwoody isn't in the side. Who's going to kick a score that's going to compete with Brisbane? I don't know, and that's why it's the best pick of the weekend for me and my last 4 on the line. But that's it, guys. Round 2 tips are over. 6 for 9 last week. I reckon we can go about that, if not better, this week. Who do you agree with? Who do you disagree with? Comment below. Let me know all those good things. If you haven't joined the Facebook page yet, please do so. I had a few off the Supercoach video that have joined, so thank you so much to you guys. Once we hit 100, I will be hosting a fan quiz in which you guys can win a Rebel Sport voucher, which will be fantastic. So go like the page, follow throughout the weekend. Hope you're doing well. Hope you enjoy your weekend. Hope your team has a win unless you barrack for Port. See you guys. Goodbye.